Uncertainty, insecurity, the world in a lockdown, one of the biggest black swans in our life. What happens when we come out? Fear of the walking dead? Fear of the crowd, social distancing, contacts with people will change. The second wave of coronavirus, nobody knows will it be, but everyone are preparing.
Despite all the losses and the tragedies during the quarantine, this is also the good time that we can see the changes, the fundamental changes that has happened in our personal and our business lives. In this video, I will show you what changes has happened in the minds of the consumer for the last 2 months and how it affected the whole lifestyle, what new values and new senses are rising and how they will dramatically change everything, and what business strategy will be the most effective and bring maximum results till the end of the year. Each black swan in our lives affects usually many things, but if we look precisely, there's always shift in values. It may seem that everything will change after the quarantine. It may seem that the person will come out with completely new pattern lifestyles. It may also seem that after the growth of digital everything, people will spend most of the time online. It may seem that we will live in a completely new world that we will never know before. This is not true. The real changes will become a little bit later. This coronavirus is like a fundamental shake for us right now, because we people, we forget everything really fast. 1 week, 2 weeks, and we forgot everything negative that had happened like 2 or months ago. The real implementation of new values will happen a little bit later in the months, when we will all start to feel the economic crisis that is forthcoming on us. So only when the crisis will continue, we will be forced to come back to these new values and shift our focus of attention there, because the economic crisis will last for some time and we will be forced to live in this reality.
Там брендинга не сильно много.
Так Харли мне потом денег платить будет еще за это все. So let's start with some benchmarks. The fact that the big brands and companies have real power is already well known, but the amount of help and support that we received during the pandemic has exceeded all expectations. So this is the first big change, that people has finally started to rely on the brands and companies more than they rely on the governments, on the social institutions, etc. Most of the people globally and locally are not expecting the brands and companies to stop their advertisement campaigns. But why? Are they expecting to receive the same campaigns that we used to have in January? No, they're waiting for information support and for business support. From the information, I mean to be always on the air, to show that brands are feeling fine and to show the brand vision and what's happening outside. And the secondly, from the business point of view, means the right product with the right maybe social price, maybe some also business innovation that can help people overcome this crisis. So the safety trigger will affect all parts of our lives. First of all, it starts from the health issues, the personal hygiene issues, and what we eat. The sanitizers in the room will become the sedatives for us. They will calm us down. And of course, when we go out from the first day of the quarantine, we will want to give hugs to each other and to keep more contacts. But this will only be for a couple of days, couple of weeks. After that, on the subconscious level, we will start to keep in distance. And we will not going to go to the small supermarkets. We will give preference to some huge hypermarkets and supermarkets. We will most likely avoid big crowds, and we will keep most distance on the personal level as well. And here we got our first dilemma. From one point of view, people want to keep more close contact. From the other point, they want to keep the social distancing. So what we see is in the closest future, people will want to change this word social distancing to some other words. For example, of culture of intercommunication. They will learn to keep the distance not because it is unsafe, but because it's like a new normals, new constantes of our lives. Those companies who started to communicate safety and to integrate safety as the key value in all the communications and inside the companies will gain most people's attention, because this is important right now. The biggest derivative from the uncertainty trend is the health issue, and this will affect different people differently. Starting from I stop drinking every day, and finishing up with doing exercises, going to yoga, sport, different activities, making your food better, overviewing all your life from the point of view of health. Firstly, because it is right, and secondly, because it's not very cheap to be unhealthy right now. The second and the most important trend is effectiveness and optimization. Because for the last 2 months, people have forced to overview all the chain of its life and make itself more effective, all parts of lives. If we talk about regular people, first of all, we review all our financial flows. And finally, at last, people will learn how to spend their money, and they will understand where they spend their money, how much they spend. We will see new culture of money in our society. This effectiveness trigger on the personal level will affect all our parts of our lives. You will look very precisely and rational into all things, but this rationality will be very smart. It will be combined with emotions, because even now, when people have less money than they used to have, they continue to spend money on things that are making them happy. Small things, maybe order sushi from the restaurant, maybe order something online more expensive than you used to have. People are balancing between rational and emotional, and they are not ready to avoid emotional parts of their lives. As for entrepreneurs and small businesses, first of all is reviewing all the supply chain, all the parts of the business to make it more effective. Avoid people who are not effective. Make less expenses that you don't need to do right now. Postpone them. You're forced to think more creative than you used to think before. And if we talk about huge corporations, they're simplifying their process as well, making them more effective from the point of view of, for example, documents or the control of the team's effectiveness, etc. This is a very interesting moment because it's not only about cutting expenses. This is about the new test on agility, on how you can change and how you can change to become effective. Because many companies will die right now. This is the truth. And those who will remain in the market will not only need to be on the market, they will need to be effective, and they will need to get even more value than they used to give before the crisis. And this is very important in terms of everything that is happening and in terms of oncoming economic turmoil. The third big change and value is total revision of all human relations on different levels. For the last 2 months, we were forced to stay all our time with our clothes, with our families, with our kids in one living space. And this affected us much because we didn't expect this to be happening all the time. And this is the big test that we have passed or haven't passed. I think personally that this is a very good thing because you finally understand what you really want. What quality of relations do you want with the people who are near you? Of course, till the end of the year, we're expecting many divorcements. We're also expecting many marriages as well. We see many good things in this. For example, from the point of view of kids, we have finally learned how to make this good communication between you and your kid, how to spend more time with them, how to make negotiations, how to make kid understand your work, your personal balance and your personal life space. From the point of employees, people understand that they will keep working only if they will be effective in their workplace. I like very much the expression of Irina Hakamada recently, who said that only if you treat your company as your personal, you will stay and you will be promoted and you will earn even more money than you expected. I like this idea. I think it's normal, by the way, and this is the good chance for all people to understand that being and treating your company as your own is the only effective way to grow and to earn more money and to go to the prosperous success together. From the point of view of partners and business, very fantastic things has happened because finally we started to treat all our supply chain or our business chain as our own. We're not thinking only about the profit we gain today. We think about the future. We support our partners, our suppliers. We support our clients. We support everybody who is working with us in the industry. So unity is very key word for us right now. We understand that only together we can overcome this crisis faster, more effective. And this also situation is giving us more creative thinking of how to collaborate together to get more results. The world is becoming more globalized. We as people understand the connections between many things that is happening simultaneously in different parts of the world. From the point of economics, people start to understand how big macro events is affecting our lives daily. For example, change of prices on oil or the currency change, how it affects our everyday prices and everyday life. From the global point of view, we see that different events on the other side of the world is affecting everybody. For example, the climate change. We see the absence of snow in Ukraine and we see snow in the United Arab Emirates. The coronavirus that hit economies of all the world. We see that we cannot make a lockdown of our country and not look at what is happening on the other side of the world. And from the point of regular people, we understand more this interconnection that is happening globally and interconnection between many different things around. And here we talk more about the so-called new gene of consumer, the new way of consumption. First of all, we talk about very regular things first. And it starts all with the attention towards us as people. What do we want? Do we love ourselves? What development do we see for each other? And only then this gene, it ends up with the ecological things like sorting the trash, like saving water, and all these different things that we already know. This is not the eco-fanatics. This is a new way of balancing your life. The new way of so-called, let's say, consciousness, yeah? We're talking about people who get a little bit more consciousness than they used to do before. And now they're starting to pay attention to every part of their lives. This way of life is most precisely described in the 17 UN goals. Each company and brand wants to overcome the crisis and get more results should invest in this new type of consumer, because these are people who will be living with us tomorrow. And if we start to growing them up right now and help them, we will get to the more prosperous and healthy future. Talking about the strategy, I like very simple and comprehensive strategies that doesn't need a million words to be explained. This strategy contains two things: generate mood and be close to your consumer. How do we develop this mood? We need to, at the brand, to develop mood and introduce some new senses into the lives of our consumers. For this, you need to understand that people right now are relying on brands and companies. They have known some good experiences for the last 2 months and they're waiting for the companies to continue supporting them. This is the great chance to make people actually believe in the value of the company. People will be waiting that the companies will continue to transmit some kind of a positive approach and positive view about the life after the quarantine. Despite all the pessimistic expectation about the economic crisis in 2020, people are not forgetting what positive emotions did they get in 2019. So they will continue to make themselves small happiness in their everyday lives. So how do you actually create mood? First of all, people are waiting that you will be always on the air. Make videos, make podcasts, collaborate with opinion leaders, collaborate with different companies. This is very important. You need to show that everything is all right with the company and you will continue to be close to your consumer. And second, we need to show how does your brand sees the life of the consumer with your brand after the quarantine, new vision, the new positive vision of the person's lives. For example, it used to be that Helen were cleaning her house once in 2 weeks, and this was a disaster from her. She was extremely annoyed by this. And now she got herself the new vacuum cleaner from your brand. And during this cleaning up, she's dancing, she's listening to her music, she creates herself some special kind of the ritual that makes her life a little bit happier at the moment. Adam, the global courier, he used to just deliver things and food to your house. But right now, he's also delivering some kind of recommendations, leaflets about how to make your life easier, how to make your life healthier, and how to eat better. The second and most important part of the strategy is to be close to your consumer and give constant value. What does it mean? Every brand having delivered this new mood needs to prove this mood with concrete actions that will bring value to consumers. We see 3 types of values. First type is rational, is when you overview all your consumer journey and make it more effective. More effective communications, more effective collaborations on every level of your consumer journey. Every business after the quarantine should ask themselves, what lessons have I learned and how can I make the life of my consumer more effective? Secondly, the social value. Good companies should continue to be the part of the social problems, and this is the forthcoming economic crisis. This is the very important trigger, is the company as the part of society. This is the good chance to get yourself the reputation as the company who actually cares about the society. So keep monitoring what is happening in society. Keep introducing some kind of social impacts and social support for different things. It's the charity, it's the social platforms, social projects, and everything that can help the society be close with them. And the third and most important, it's the project values. Initiate projects that will give actual real value in terms of your communication platform. For example, if you are the brand about success, initiate the project to help businesses arise and overcome the crisis. If you're the brand about the sport, introduce new way for people to become more healthier, educate them. Invest your budget in raising up the new consumer in terms of your communication strategy. This is not only the short game, it's also about the long run. Because right now people are expecting support from you and they are ready to be your loyal client if you're helping them right now. And also they will become your clients forever. This is the time that you are investing your company in the raising up of your new consumers that will become your loyal consumers forever. This is the chance for you to get immune, to get an army of loyal consumers that will help you and support your company in terms of any crisis.